Long time no see, YouTube friends. It is I, Altosax31, and we are picking up where we left off on the last mission of Devil May Cry 4. We are on mission 15 and playing as Dante. And nice to see that the forest is a little bit different after being in Echidna. It's not so rainy and foggy, I guess you can say. Though in exchange for the nice sunlight, there is these very annoying enemies known as faults. Spoiler alert: they are pretty annoying throughout the mission, and I do tend to kind of show my frustration with them because they're very annoying. But as I mentioned in the last video, this should be the last time you run through this area in the forest, but the nice sunlight's a nice big change. And so once you start, we'll actually fight some actual enemies worth fighting, the scarecrows. But you definitely want to keep in mind that these faults will pretty much show up in any part of the mission, and if you get caught in them, they will transport you to I don't even know what to call it, but a section of the map where you fight a bunch of chimeras. So best advice is just don't stay too long in one spot. If he's about to grab you, move out the way, because it's annoying, and it's not worth your time fighting these guys. So but we're going to be heading back in a similar fashion as we did in the last mission, except this time we don't have to worry about any hazy doors or a base to go through. There's not that curse, I guess you could call it, on this part. So when we come back to the river area, there are still Mephistos that you have to fight. You do want to employ the same strategy as you did in the last one, basically hitting them with the real impact. Now, unfortunately, the kicker here is that the faults that show up throughout the map, they do affect you. If you're able to catch that, that was a complete distorted real impact. I know I mentioned it several times in the last video. Don't make it a drinking game for every time I say that. So, but it's very useful, so I can't stress the importance of it. If you guys can master it, it'll make defeating tough enemies a lot quicker. And unfortunately, I try to get the Faust here to get down to his spider form, but he's pretty persistent. So, had I not known that was going to happen, I would have been very upset. So, another distorted real impact, and it goes in my favor. So, sometimes throughout the fights, you can't really manage to deal with these guys. The faults, they're called faults, like a fault in the ground. They're persistent. If you can manage to kill it, it does stop showing up for a little while. But in each section of a map, there's like a separate one that shows up for that section. So just know if you stop moving for a second, there's a chance he could show up. And I can't stress how annoying these guys are. But you're going to have to live with it. They show up for the rest of the mission, basically. Just keep moving, guys. Don't stay too still. Now, back to this training ground where we fight the assaults once again. You definitely want to attack and be on the offensive. That just happened to be a fluke, in my opinion. He went towards me, he got stuck by the boundary of the map, and I just happened to come down in the same area. So I wouldn't say it's so much my fault, but it's part of the game when it happens. So surprise, surprise, guess who shows up again? It's our good old friend, our pal Blitz. This time he makes his appearance in the training ground, so it's a little annoying that you have to fight him and worry about the faults too. So you just gotta get through it. Trickster, man, Trickster. If you didn't catch that, Blitz should have hit me, but I was able to use Trickster at the last second. So here I do the distorted real impact again, and you can see I did pretty much 75% of damage to him, as opposed to the first attempt where I did hardly any damage to him. So that's where it comes in handy. And instead of taking an extra minute or two to fight this guy, I'm able to knock him pretty much close to death. And fortunately I managed to escape without getting hit by him, which is always a nice accomplishment. And there you go, he's out. So once the battle is concluded, you can hack away at these faults as much as you like. They do give you green orbs, which is nice in the regular, normal and hard, but with Hell and Hell, it doesn't do anything for you, unfortunately. So you can either choose to ignore them, or take the time to get a little personal revenge on them. Do as you please. But once you're done, you want to head back towards this valley area, where you will fight some more chimeras. Fortunately, there's not as many assault chimeras right off the back, but I do charge my rebellion sword to throw it and do some damage. And I actually go for this regular chimera, and it ends up going after this assault chimera, so I end up getting a little lucky. But as always, you have to be careful with these guys. They do have those tentacles that kind of just swing around randomly, and as you'll see here in a little bit, it will hit you when you least expect it. God, those faults are so annoying. Even just rewatching my gameplay, I'm like, man, I can't even remember. They're literally going right one after another. So they're gonna show up there, and I get Trickster to save my butt. And so here I managed to get just a little bit of time, and I don't know how I pulled that off, but Trickster again, it saved me. In my eyes, looking back, I mean, I was pretty much engulfed in that fault, but somehow I managed to escape it. And so we are fortunate to only have one assault chimera left. And see, there you go. So even though he's down on the ground, he just took damage. The tentacles were still able to hit me. I made an error in judgment. I thought they were destroyed, but they weren't, and unfortunately I paid the price. So my failures can be your accomplishments, because you know that you have to be extra careful with these guys. And now we can go ahead and knock these guys out, because they are super annoying. It's too bad that destroying 10 of these guys doesn't remove them for the remainder of the mission. They keep coming back. But at this point in the mission, you should just focus on trying to get as far as you can without getting hit. There are no bosses on this level, so it's a matter of just getting through the level and taking your time. And not rushing it. This isn't by all means, it's not a very hard level. So you should actually be pretty close. I'd say about 75% way. And I would say even close to 90. I just remembered that all you have to do is just exit this forest area and head back towards the waterfall, and that's it. So once you get to this last part, you want to make sure you get all the cocoons / egg sacs, and once you get them, you head on back through this tunnel where as Nero, you met Dante falling into the forest, and you run back all the way in this little cavern, and we start heading back towards the waterfall. And it should be the end of the level. And yep, that is it. So we'll see how we did. 852, not bad. So unfortunately, abusing the shotgun in this level, I didn't get a very high rank with the stylish points. But the important thing is we finished the mission and we got an S overall ranking. So good job, guys. I hope this helps you out, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode. Take care. and happy hunting.